Oh, the weather outside is fashion.
We are here today to talk a little about the principle of zero waste.
Fashion.
Wait a minute, Frank. Frank, what are you doing?
I'm in the middle of my cutting process here.
Frank, stop! Haven't you heard about zero waste? You can't let all those materials go to waste, Frank.
Yeah, I don't care. This is art.
Frank, using everything can be art as well.
Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes to convince me.
Have a look at these facts. A lot of companies in the fashion industry are using traditional pattern cutting and sewing and are wasting a lot of materials. They are throwing 15% or more fabric away. Every production is wasting thousands of yards in fabric. Can you imagine what that does to the earth? When textiles are wasted, so too are resources. And we are talking both natural and human labor resources, which are invested and embedded into the textiles. To reduce this textile waste and the demand on natural resources, some designers are adopting the zero waste design approach.
That's cool.
When you consider that the amount of water used to make a single t-shirt could sustain one person for 3 years, the impact is staggering. This understanding of the true value of materials underpins the zero waste philosophy.
Word.
Did I convince you, Frank?
All you do is talk about saving and saving materials, but you're not saying how. How? It ain't possible.
It is, and there are several ways to do it, Frank.
Don't be cranky, Frankie.
Here are 3 different and challenging zero waste methods. Well, the designers use these so-called zero waste patterns, which are made to fit together like puzzle pieces. It involves fitting all the flat pieces of a clothing pattern like a puzzle, so no fabric is wasted. There are a few well-known fashion designers, who I will tell you more about later, which have become eco-fashion designers.
Let's have a zero waste party!
Shut it, little man.
By creating a pattern that can be reused or that reuses materials itself, the pattern is already restricting the amount of resources required for its production. A different zero waste approach is to weave only what is needed. The pattern pieces are grown onto the loom as fully fashioned shapes, similar to fully fashioned knit. There is no excess material, and the fabric pieces are woven according to the size and shape of the pattern pieces. You can choose knitting, and you will only ever use the necessary amount of material you need for your garment. Even better, you can reuse old fabric pieces to produce your own yarn. By cutting fabric into very thin strips and piecing it together, you can have your very own self-produced yarn from where you can create new designs with zero waste. You can also work out the pattern by draping. Instead of designing your garment beforehand, you can design directly by draping your entire piece of textile on the body and then tuck, layer and sew. This way, no fabric is wasted, and you can easily reuse the garment because it is one big piece of fabric instead of a cut-up pattern. Isn't it truly amazing, Frankie boy?
I'm so thrilled. You don't get me to jump on your new wave there. It's just a fling.
Frank, people have been thinking about zero waste for centuries. Let us dive into the history books and have a look. The philosophy of designing clothes in order to minimize waste of resources have taken place since the dawn of time. Early examples of zero waste fashion include many traditional folk costumes. For example, the Japanese kimono. Leftover fabric was not thrown out and patterns were designed like a puzzle of simple shapes. There are plenty other examples, such as the Greek toga and the Indian sari, where the construction was based on using the entire piece of fabric.
True that.
The Industrial Revolution had a profound impact on the approach as clothes became cheaper and easier to throw away, and it was no longer important to minimize waste. Not until the first half of the 20th century where zero-waste clothing began reappearing because of the futurist and activist Ernesto Theillat, who focused on eliminating waste. Later on, the designers Claire McCardell and Bernardo Rudofsky involved the idea of zero waste in the 1950s. Contemporary pioneers such as Sandra Rhodes emerged in the 1970s and Yeoli Reng in the 1980s. Since then, more designers started experimenting with zero-waste fashion. Yet today, the idea of zero waste suggests a particular and holistic focus on not creating waste, whereas previously, The main concern was to fully utilize the expensive fabrics.
Fabulous!
I'll tell you what, this is a waste of time. I can't do something people did in ancient Greece and before World War II and still be original.
But Frank, a lot of today's designers are practicing zero waste, such as Timo Rissanen and Holly McQuillan.
Really?
I just think you're afraid. You can't handle these methods, Frank.
Who the hell are you?
Yeah, Frank, I thought you were creative, but maybe I was wrong.
I am creative. Like super creative. Mr. Creative, that's me. My middle name is...
We get it.
This was a zero waste production. No paper was harmed.
Oh, the weather outside is fashion. And since I'm a man with taste, zero waste, zero waste, zero